Good afternoon. You're watching NTV at 1 and my name is Olive Burrows. MPs allied to Deputy President William Ruto now want the period for returning the 1,000 shilling note reduced, arguing that the period is too long. The MPs who see the move as targeted at the Deputy President and his church donations say they will not be deterred by the directive. Now let's listen in on the Deputy President himself.
Wadogo wasiumie kwa sababu wako na madeni na serikali inakalia pesa zao. And I want to ask county governments to as well heed the call of His Excellency the President so that we can pay all our suppliers and make sure that there is circulation of money in our economy. Kwa hivyo, hayo ndio mambo ambayo tunataka tushirikiane tukifanya kazi pamoja nayo na tukienda safari hiyo ya kwenda mbele. Mwisho, mimi nataka niseme nikiwa hapa Kahawa Wendani na nikiwa Ruiru ya kwamba sisi wote tuungane. Mnajua tuliamua na haturudi nyuma ya kwamba nia yetu ni kuunganisha taifa lote la Kenya, jamii zote za Kenya, watu wa kutoka dini zote za Kenya. Tuweke undugu na urafiki, tuondoe siasa ya chuki na ugomvi na siasa ya ukabila tuweke kando, kwa sababu sisi wote ni ndugu moja wa taifa moja la Kenya. Tuweze kuweka umoja na tushughulikie mambo ya maendeleo ya taifa letu la Kenya. Mimi nawauliza kama wana Kiambu, katika mpango yetu ya Big Four, tuko na mambo ya housing, tuko na mambo ya manufacturing, tuko na mambo ya universal health coverage. Sisi tunataka kuwajumuisha katika hiyo mpango, na ili tuweze kupata manufaa. Huyu mjumbe wenu alikuja kwetu akatuuliza, kwa sababu tunajenga technical training colleges tofauti katika sehemu tofauti za taifa letu la Kenya. Katika awamu hii tukasema pia watu wa Ruiru tutawajengea technical training college. Tumeweka pesa katika budget, the first 50 million, na tunajenga hiyo college hapa Ruiru na tunajenga ingine kule Githunguri, na Bwana Kago yuko hapa. So already the one in Githunguri has started, the one in Ruiru here has started, na nia yetu ni kuhakikisha kwamba wale vijana wote wanamaliza standard form 4. Vijana wengi hawapati nafasi ya kwenda college, na ndio tunajenga college hiyo, kwa sababu tunahitaji vijana wengi wenye ujuzi wa ufundi na teknolojia. Na tumeamua pia kama serikali ya kwamba vijana hawa watakaoenda kusoma ufundi na teknolojia katika technical training colleges, tutawapatia bursary kila kijana kila mwaka 30,000, loan ya 40,000, ili mzazi asiseme mtoto wake hajaenda kusoma katika college kwa sababu hana uwezo. Kama serikali tumeweka mpango, we are going to provide bursaries, we are going to provide loans so that every young person can be equipped with skills and competencies so that they can contribute their talent and their energy in driving our Big Four and our general development plan. Kwa hivyo,
the Deputy President speaking at the Kahawa Wendani Church, and Kennedy Murray stays on that story. Tragically, 2 people have died and 2 others were seriously injured in a road accident at Nyanja area along the Nakuru-Eldoret highway. The accident involved 2 lorries. The driver of one of the lorries, which was driving from Nakuru to Eldoret, lost control and crashed into another lorry that was driving from Eldoret. According to witnesses, the accident took place at around 10 p.m. on Saturday night. The injured were rushed to Molo Sub-County Hospital while the bodies of the deceased were taken to the hospital's morgue. The 2 lorries were towed to the Mau Summit police station.
Tulitoka usiku nyumbani tukakuja tukaona hii lori yenye ilikuwa inatoka Nakuru ikielekea na ikakuja Eldoret, kwa hivi ikagongana kichwa kwa kichwa, lakini ni watu wawili walikufa. Dereva wote wawili walikufa, lakini matani boy wako, lakini wako hospitali. Ndio panakuwa na mteremko, lakini kwagi mzuri juu hii sio ajali ya kwanza.
On to matter security, West Pokot Governor John Lonyangapuo has called for the arrest of assailants said to have killed 2 herdsmen in the county. Lonyangapuo said the killings add to the number of attacks witnessed in the county and which have caused panic. Speaking during the Madaraka Day celebrations, the county boss asked the government to put an end to what he says is a spate of extrajudicial killings in the county. The remarks follow the discovery of bodies believed to be those of the herdsmen inside the Kaptakat forest in Elgeyo Marakwet County on Wednesday. And a few months ago, 2 others were killed and found at the Kitala-Kepel area along the Kapenguria Road.
Assistant chiefs, na mtu to the front, sema tu
sasa hivi na kisha tutapata.
Squatters living in poor conditions at Cherubai area in Endebess, Trans Nzoia, now want the government to resettle them. The squatters claim that they have been living in fear following threats and mistreatment from GSU officers whose mission, they say, is to evict them from their homes. They're accusing some government officials of using force to kick them out of their land in spite of a court order stopping any eviction. The squatters further accuse some politicians in the area of a scheme to give out their land to people from the neighboring country, Uganda. They claim that they've been working in the Agricultural Development Corporation farms for years with a pledge from the government to resettle them.
Mara kitoko matrakta zikaingia, zikaanza kuspray mashamba na nyumba yake. Mama akalia akasema, kweli mnaspray na mang'ombe yangu kwa nini? Na majeshi walitoka wakakimbiza mama karibu mita 50, wakamshikia huko chini. Wakamleta paka hapa na kumtandika pamoja na msichana ya jirani. Waliwatandika mbaya sana. Mama damu ikatoka kwa mapua, hata hajiwezi saa hii hatujui mali ako.
Tumekuwa tukidhulumiwa na ile tabia ya kikoloni kabisa. Na tena upande mwingine tunaona ni kama ya kwamba sisi sheria zenye zinafanyika area hili, hii area hii ni kama sheria inatoka Uganda. Kwa sababu hata viongozi ambao tunaongozwa na wao tunawashuku kama ni Waganda, kwa sababu mambo ambayo yanafanywa hayafanywi kama Wakenya.
Staying with land matters, police in Kilifi have been accused of colluding with influential individuals and cartels to execute illegal court orders to evict people from their land. During the Madaraka Day celebrations, Governor Amason Kingi reiterated that the trend has left hundreds of residents homeless and needs to be stopped.
During the Madaraka Day celebrations in Kilifi, the thorny land issue was prominent in all the speeches. The perennial land evictions marred by violence has been experienced in most parts of the county. During the recent skirmishes in Mtwapa, 3 people were shot by police after squatters resisted eviction.
Wananchi wanaamka asubuhi, wanashtuka tu kwamba mtu amekuja na court order. Na hakuja peke yake. Amekuja na lori kama 5 hivi zimejaa polisi. Wananchi hawana silaha yoyote, hawana vita na mtu, hawana chochote cha kupigana, wanapigwa risasi na polisi.
Kila mahali panavunjwa. Hii ni polisi na magani. Ikome. Hatutaki. Weka heshima na watu.
Cases of land grabbing in Kilifi are on the rise, where unsuspecting buyers have been duped into spending millions of shillings on disputed parcels of land, leading to years of legal battles.
Court order yoyote ambayo inatoka hapa Kilifi, kabla polisi hajaenda kufurusha mwananchi, lazima tuikague vilivyo. Ile mambo ya kuamka nafanya kupigiwa simu kwamba gavana watu wanafurushwa, hiyo hatutaki tena.
Kama kuna hatimiliki mashamba ambazo asikupatikana kwa ukweli, the National Land Commission should have recommended to the Chief Land Registrar for the revocation of those title deeds.
The residents are appealing to the National Lands Commission and the Lands Registrar to intervene and resolve the rampant cases of land grabbing in the county. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
Tana River County Governor Thado Godana has warned that action will be taken against county officials involved in any form of corruption in his administration. The governor directed his warning to some of his officers who he accused of financial mismanagement, where crucial documents are allegedly missing. This stems from the governor's appearance before the Senate's County Public Accounts and Investments Committee, where some queries went unexplained. The governor, who was speaking during the 56th celebrations of Madaraka Day in Hola, also called on the residents to shun dirty politics that threaten the progress of the county. As Muslims prepare to celebrate Eid al-Fitr this week, the Al-Azhar mission from Egypt, in collaboration with Muslim communities in the country, are engaging the youth. The mission, which was in Kajiado, is directed towards educating the youth, especially on the ills of radicalization.
The mission was in Kajiado County, where the Al-Azhar team engaged hundreds of youth at the Kajiado Jamia Mosque grounds. The training included parenting, marriage, as well as issues affecting the youth, such as drug and substance abuse and terrorism. The young people were encouraged to engage in positive leisure activities and to avoid idleness at all costs. Parents were also challenged to be mindful of their children in this age where technology is used to radicalize the youth.
Family, siku hizi hamzungumzi. Family inazungumza na WhatsApp, message, sijui Facebook, sijui nini. Hizo simu ziwekwe kando nyumbani. Watu warudi na family values, wakae chini wazungumze. Families, kuleni chakula mahali moja, zungumza. Get to know your kid.
According to one of the scholars, there are ill-intentioned people keen on using the internet to spread terror through the youth.
Sababu watoto kuingia katika madawa ya kulevya na kuingia katika fikra hizi za ugaidi ni kwa sababu wazazi mara nyingine wamelegeza kamba au wamekosa kuwajibika inavyotakikana katika malezi. Kwa hivyo kwanza tumesema mzazi awe ni mfano mzuri kwa mtoto wake. Mzazi pia ni lazima awe karibu na mtoto wake, ajue anafanya nini, na hasa tukitambua kuwa tunaishi katika wakati wa mitandao.
Kajiado leaders called on the community to remain united and spread peace through the religion.
Dini ya Kiislamu ni dini ya upendo, ni dini ya amani, na swala la wahalifu kutumia dini ya Kiislamu kuua watu, hapa tumetangaziwa kwamba dini ya Kiislamu haihusiani na wahalifu ambao wanakuja kuua, kulipua wengine na kutoa maisha ya wengine wakitumia dini ya Kiislamu. Hiyo sio maadili, sio imani ya Kiislamu, na tungependa kusimama nao kama serikali kwamba vijana tuepukane na mambo ya radicalization.
The teachings also focus on tolerance among religions. Halima Gongo, NTV.
Residents of Githogoro Informal Settlement are pleading with the government to help them construct decent homes and improve infrastructure as well as service delivery. The residents say there is a clear disparity in the quality of life they're living compared to that of their wealthy neighbors who erected a wall to separate the two communities. Githogoro A, home for the wealthy, has all the amenities, while residents of Githogoro B do not have access to good roads, clean water or a drainage system. Githogoro is along the border between Kiambu and Nairobi counties.
Zaidi ni tutafutiwa makao, hata kama ni mahali ya choo tu. Hiyo ndio tabu kubwa. Yaani kama mimi ni mzee, ukiniangalia nyumba ni kukomboa, kazi haziwezi.
Unajua shida. Sasa wakiona hali kama hiyo, mwingine anaishi vizuri sana, wengine wanaishi kwa shida sana na ni majirani. Sasa hiyo kitu inafanya hawa watu waudhike sana.
A rift continues to widen at the Dock Workers Union following the suspension of 5 nominated board officials. The officials were suspended by the union's chairman, Mohamed Sheria, but were later reinstated by the Secretary General, Simon Sang, as the two factions differ over management of the union. The chairman explained that his decision was advised by a review of the nomination regulations when it was discovered that the right channel was not used to nominate the members. Sang slammed the chairman, claiming only the Secretary General is allowed to suspend a member.
bodi ilikeuka katiba kwa kuwateua wasiostahili kuingia kwenye board ya Dock Workers Union. Tuliangalia katiba kwa makini na tukaona malalamiko hayo ya wanachama ni ya kweli. Mimi kama mlinda katiba nimechukua hatua, nimewasuspend wale 5 ambao wanakalia nafasi za walemavu.
The chairman is the person who went to register them in Nairobi. And again, the Constitution, the Labor Relations Act, has a provision of 7 days. If a nomination has been done and probably you feel like it's not okay, then within 7 days you are supposed to protest. But now 3 years down the line, somebody is talking about that. Then actually, what he wants, I think, is just politicking.
On the international scene, 1 person was killed and 10 others wounded in the Sudanese capital Khartoum on Saturday when shots were fired near the site of a protest sit-in. Protesters have remained camped out in front of Khartoum's army's headquarters to pressure the generals to yield power. The Doctors' Committee did not specify which forces opened fire or identify those killed or wounded. Soldiers and security forces blocked off the city's Nile Street on Saturday afternoon, while gunfire could be heard in the distance. The military ousted President Omar al-Bashir in April after months of protests against his authoritarian rule. The latest violence comes after a man was shot dead Thursday on Nile Street, a day after a woman was killed in the same area. Negotiations between protest leaders and the ruling military council have broken down as the 2 sides have failed to agree on whether a planned transitional body would be headed by a civilian or a military figure. Thousands of Angola's former rebel leader Jonas Savimbi's supporters attended his public reburial 17 years after he was killed by troops in a shootout that marked the end of the country's devastating civil war. The ceremony was touted as a symbol of national reconciliation after decades of war.
Wearing T-shirts printed with an image of Jonas Savimbi's face, supporters placed his coffin on a monument designed by one of the guerrilla leader's sons in Savimbi's native village of Lopitanga. A portrait of the charismatic but divisive rebel leader was placed before the coffin, which was draped with Unita's green and red flag. This was the second time Savimbi's remains were being interred, 17 years after he was killed by troops in a shootout that marked the end of the country's devastating civil war. Savimbi, known as the Black Rooster, died in February 2002 during a clash with the army in central Angola. Soldiers buried him there, and his public funeral and reburial came after long negotiations between Angolan authorities and Savimbi's Unita, now an opposition party. Savimbi was reburied in accordance with his wishes. There were voices that felt Savimbi did not deserve a dignified burial, as they accused him of ruining his movement because of paranoia and sexual appetite. Reports emerged of women who had dared to refuse his sexual advances being banned in public along with their children. There are people who also accuse him of eliminating members of his party whom he considered a threat.
For the chef and diners alike, each meal beneath the waves at Europe's first underwater restaurant is a thing of wonder. The aptly named new restaurant Under opened a few weeks ago on Norway's southern tip. It serves up delicacies in an architectural showpiece that stretches down 5 meters, which is 15 feet, underwater, offering a unique close-up of ocean life.
Out 5 meters beneath the sea's surface, this is Under, Europe's only underwater restaurant and the largest of its kind in the world. On Norway's southern tip, this new restaurant offers 40 diners a night and a unique view as they test specialties from the sea outside.
The guests, they are on an adventure. They are exploring themselves, the nature, because this is not an aquarium. The fish might look at us as an aquarium, because what's happening outside here, that is under natural control.
Surrounded by cold waters, diners here won't see the tropical fish on shore at other underwater restaurants in the Maldives or Dubai. but the team running Under say other features set it apart.
The restaurant in itself is combined by three pillars for the gastronomy, the architecture, and the marine biology. So all these three things brought together is different from anything else.
Dishes are heavily influenced by the landscapes in the area around the restaurant. Danish chef Nikolai Elitsgard forages for ingredients in the rugged countryside nearby. But in his underwater kitchen, he finds inspiration in many places.
We have this small window next to the kitchen, and every time there comes some special kind of fish, I always start looking and feeling. Then I start thinking about how does this taste.
A tasting menu here comprises 16 to 18 courses, with delicacies like a dessert made from 5 kinds of locally foraged algae. The undersea eatery is booked out 6 months in advance. Despite the substantial cost, a meal here will set you back around 230 euros.
The Shindana Stars promotion, a grand prize of 10 shillings.
Quarterfinal at 12:50 p.m. This is the first time Kenya Sevens have made it to the Cup quarterfinals this season. The Shujaas avoided relegation after a series of results went their way. Kenya beat another relegation candidate, that is Wales, 26-21 in their third and final Pool B game. A final Pool D game saw Japan fall 22-21 to Scotland, and South Africa narrowly beat Australia 19-17. In the 22nd before Sharks Patila Omoto pulled one back. The game was sealed on Sunday morning when the Dockers' Benjamin Mosha netted in the 80th to put it well beyond doubt. Bandari book a slot in next season's CAF Confederation Cup. A bit of boxing. Andy Ruiz Jr. dethroned British title holder Anthony Joshua with a stunning 7th round stoppage at New York's Madison Square Garden to become the first Mexican-American world heavyweight champion. Joshua, previously undefeated and fighting for the first time in the United States, was defending his IBF, WBA and WBO titles, but was knocked down 4 times in the fight before the referee waved off the contest in the 7th. Ruiz had not been given much chance of beating the champion, given he had just 5 full weeks to prepare after Joshua's scheduled performance-enhancing drugs.
It's just like a minor setback, I would say, if that's what we want to call it, a minor setback. But, you know, the locks on the doors don't change. We're still family, we still love the sport, still a champ.
Stories stories coming up in a few short minutes. Well, followers of the Legio Maria Church of Africa have been urged to uphold unity and end wrangles within the church. This was the underlying message as two faction leaders, that is Romanas Ongombe and Raphael Adika, declared an end to a long-running feud. Our correspondent Bernard Ojwang covered the event.
The two Legio Maria leaders decided to bring an end to decade-long feud that has almost crippled the religious body. The special handshake brought back smiles and hope to the followers.
To the two leaders, I want to congratulate them so much for coming together, because their coming together is a sign of all of us to be together once more.
This is the day we had been waiting, because we separated now 10 years ago. And God did this thing, as he said, the year 2019, which is this year we are now. He said he's going to combine the church, and we shall pray together. I will have to say and thank God for what God has done to us in this our church, and I believe nobody is going to separate this kind of combination.
Hii salamu imetuleta pamoja. Na ni furaha kwetu wa Legio Maria kwa sababu sasa tuna utulivu na tunataka tujenge bridge mpya ambaye itatufikisha mbinguni. Kwetu sisi kama leaders, naomba kwamba tuwe kitu kimoja, tuwe na uwiano, utengamano, bila mtu kusema kwamba mimi ni kabila fulani, mimi ni mtu fulani. Tukae kama watoto wa mtu mmoja.
Pope Raphael Adika called on the believers to stop their unnecessary politics and ensure that they support the newfound unity. He said a new leadership structure will be unveiled in September.
Mzee Romanus ameniita tutengeneze Legio. He sent me a message calling me to come together with him so that we prepare Legio Maria. This is a new Legio Maria.
Alikuja kama kama mimi sikujua kama atakushanyisha watu. Nikamwambia twende kuombea watu, watasikia mambo yako.
We people living here have been very disappointed in the past. When we saw the two wazee coming up as both leaders of the same rank, it will not work in a church. In any church, there must be one leader. And we tried at God Kwero. When we went there, when I was still a member of parliament for this area, we were defeated. Today, God has done his miracle here. He has brought the two wazee here without any government machinery coercing them to come here. That is something that we must accept, respect, and actually thank God for doing.
The peace deal has faced criticism from a section of Ngombe's followers who claim that they were not consulted.
Mimi kaji na prayer, mimi kwa nafi yangu mimi nasema hatutaki. Lazima yeye na sisi tukae pamoja, tuungane pamoja, ndio tusikane na yule mwingine.
Hii maneno ya kusalimiana huko South Nyanza God Calvary, sisi nasikia tu kwa radio. Na hagiana ati kisakuwa kimoja. Na sisi watu wakubwa kwa kiti yake kwa round yeye, najua popi iko na sasa hiyo mimi naona kama iko kitu ndani. Na hii watu sasa nasumbua sisi. Najua sisi ni wakubwa, iko mabishops, iko mapadri, wa Christians nasumbua sisi. Kwa maana kati ya hawa wawili iko matabu. Sasa najua hata kama sijui naweza sema namna gani. Kama baba yako nafugusa wewe, pengine napiga wewe, na mtu nasema sasa wewe iko na mpaka wewe akuwa na
Ongombe and his followers have their headquarters in Godkweru, Migori County, while Pope Adika is based in Kisumu. Under the new deal, the church headquarters will be in Godkweru, Suna West, Migori County. Ojwang, NTV.
Hopefully, Liverpool and Tottenham fans can follow the example of the Legend Maria and find a way to live in unity. Now, Liverpool returned to their Madrid hotel in the early hours of Sunday after winning the Champions League for the 6th time. Jurgen Klopp's team were greeted by fans cheering and blowing horns after they beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-0 at the Wanda. NTV at 1 closes. My name is Olive Burrows.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. أشهد أن لا